Hey, welcome back to the Bad Pipes Podcast. This is your main host, dad host, the best host, the tallest host, the wise tree, the Christopher Columbus of hosts. I've sailed to the New World and I've stolen all the gold, and I'm getting rid of human sacrifice. With me today is my side host, my host consort, the my favorite little buddy, Scott. Scott, say hi.
Hi.
And as well as Scott, we also have returning guest, permanent guest, resident guest, sleeping on the couch guest, Isaac.
I would like you to refer to me as Ponce de Leon from here on out.
The Ponce de Leon host, you might say.
Yes.
We watched some movies on the back of the Alien franchise that we talked about for far too long last week. We watched just two Predator movies, alright? Not Predator 2. We didn't watch that one. Or Predators. Or The Predator. Or Alien vs. Predator. Or... God. What are all of them?
That's all of them.
Is that all of them?
We watched Prey and Predator. We watched Predator and Prey. We watched the first and the last. The Alpha and the Omega.
The beginning and the end.
Yeah, until they make more, I guess.
Yeah.
This was my first time watching Prey.
Mine too.
I think we should talk about that one first.
It was my second time watching it.
Nice.
So...
You want to start with Prey?
We're starting with Prey, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't really enjoying this one, gonna be honest.
That's because it's a girl and you don't like girls.
No, I like girls. It's just, I mean, like the Alien, like the aliens. Like the first half of Alien Romulus.
Till it got awesome.
It got overplayed. And the same thing that Alien Romulus did, I feel like Prey does, where it's just trying to like keep on hearkening back to the original and just kind of like coming up short narratively.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was okay. It's, it's nothing to write home about. It was just like, it was fine. Yeah, like the action was good, like the fighting was good. I mean, there was some cool, like the tomahawk on the string, pretty cool. Some cool choreography, cool action. But I don't know. Something about Arnold just really makes you like him and want to root for him, and I didn't feel that in this. Like, I didn't really care too much about our main character, or
I can't even remember her name.
Naru. Yeah.
Was Naru?
I honestly cared more about the dog. I was really hoping they weren't going to kill the dog.
Dude, me too.
But I'd still it's still something I'd recommend. I think in general, like, you look at, and granted, I haven't seen, like, I've seen Predator before. I haven't seen like any of the other Predators. I think it is like a cool concept to like put it in this setting. Kind of bringing that, like, oh, like the Predator isn't just like this alien existing in like a futuristic or like modern day setting that's like coming in and hunting down modern humans who have guns. Like this shows that they've been around forever, apparently.
Yeah. Well, a critique that I've heard levied against this film is in Predator 2, I believe, you see like the trophy collection of one of them, and you see this old like flintlock pistol. And I guess the idea was like, oh,
They've been
Let's
around.
make a movie set in that era to show how the Predator got the pistol, but it didn't show that.
Yeah.
Instead, you see her get the pistol, and then
Yeah.
I don't know, her die eventually, and then the Predator gets it. Were they hoping to make another movie out of this, where she befriends one or something? I don't know.
One thing I didn't like so much, because like I knew what I was getting into. Like when I got into the movie, like I saw kind of like the premise that it's like, oh, it's a Comanche Native American tribe that, you know, this predator is kind of terrorizing. I kind of, when you get the reveal of the predator, and it also kind of matches those, like the predator's outfitting and like tech feels like it's mirroring this time period, which felt weird to me. I was like, why isn't it just like, I don't know. It felt like it would have been cooler to just have like the Predator from like the original, just this like ultra futuristic being with all this shit.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of,
it felt weird,
odd too.
Yeah,
Because they have interstellar capability, so you think they're kind of probably at the close to the pinnacle of their technology. You know, like how much better can you really get without just like going game breaking? If you're like a alien that travels extra galactically to to hunt
and like
things, you know,
has still, it's a very weird mix. It's like it still has cloaking technology. It has like aimbot technology still, but randomly just has like other weird outfitting that feels very tribal.
Yeah, like we're using a magnetic bolt thrower instead of a plasma gun.
Yeah,
Kind of odd. I don't know.
Isaac,
My
thoughts?
biggest hang up?
No.
No, I mean, Isaac, do you have thoughts?
Well, I just know that the whole idea is that it's like a feral predator. It's not like a fully. It's like, in my mind, when watching it and based on my understanding, it's like kind of like this planet shouldn't be a problem. Just go handle it. Lowest guy on the totem pole. And then because he never came back, we got the predator later, right?
Fair.
With all the technology and like ready to wipe the slate, because he shows up as like the low man on the totem pole, so he doesn't have all the stuff. And then when the predator
tell us that somewhere in the movie though, or is this like extra movie information?
No, there's like Darren Trachtenberg talked about it in an interview, and he was like, I guess there is hints about it in between. If you watch all the Predator movies, like there's between Predators in this one, there's like feral predators that are like the low men on the totem pole in Predators, and they're dressed the same way that this Predator is dressed. They're like they're not worthy of the full armor and everything.
Okay. I guess that checks. That makes a little bit more sense. So because like for
this
me,
is a movie that like needs you to have watched the other ones and been invested in their narrative in order to understand what's going on here.
That's a studio play, right? That's always the studio always forces that on the creative.
No, that is. I mean, I'll say that's fair, because I mean, I would say, looking at it, like, you know, who's going to get the most enjoyment out of this movie? I mean, someone's not going to go to. I feel like no one's really going to go to this movie being like, yeah, this is how I'm going to start the entire franchise. They're going to like have already seen them. It felt like a movie that was made for the fans that have already seen it. But like for me, like I've only seen Predator before. It's been a really long time, so like I didn't remember everything about the movie, but like watching it, it definitely like it rang bells from like how, dude, it had to have been forever ago that I saw that movie. And I haven't rewatched it since, but I did this time.
That movie is such a like masculine high of a movie, like a testosterone.
Oh, I mean, insanity. Yeah. When we get into it, I have some comments.
Yeah. So, like, one of my biggest gripes with this one is the whole, like, the main character, Naru, right? Naru. I want to
Can I
hunt.
just say,
No
can
one
I
let
say
me
something
hunt.
though?
What?
When you watched this, was there ever moments when you were looking at her and being like, why does... I had to look it up for a second because I was like, she looks like Aubrey Plaza for some reason. A lot.
Yeah, she does.
In many shots. I thought it was her for a second. I had to look that up. I just wanted to say that.
No, I couldn't imagine them casting someone other than a descendant Native American to play a Native American.
Sure.
Unless Aubrey Plaza is descendant Native, but I don't know. I don't think she is. Otherwise, I think we would have seen her in one of them roles already.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So my biggest hang up with her character is this whole like, I want to hunt. You can't hunt. You're not good at hunting. Only the boys are good at hunting. And then her brother, like the relationship with her brother, where he's not like openly dismissive of her desire to do things outside of her, I guess, culturally assigned role. But their relationship, right, is kind of like the heart of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not much there. Like, there's not enough there to make you care about it. So, like, the fact that he's her brother really doesn't matter whatsoever. Like, it could have been her friend in the tribe. It could have been, like, her potential husband in the tribe. It didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
Which is kind of frustrating. I almost wish that they had made her motivation like the exact opposite. Like, their dad still died, they were siblings, but she was like, no, I don't want to hunt. And him being like, well, dad taught me how to hunt, and this is like my best memories of him were hunting, and I want to share that with you, and so that we have those kind of memories or something like that, right? Because you even get some of that in the movie, right, where he's talking about when he went on his first hunt.
Right.
If it had been something like, no, I really don't want to, like, I just, like, taking a life, like, life is a holy, like, sacred thing, and taking it shouldn't be like a, I don't know, like a game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they'd played on that angle a little bit, I think the narrative would have been a bit more interesting. And so, like, as the movie unfolded, if instead of it being like, yeah, look, she was capable of all of this stuff already, like, she was, bam. Like, I think most people would probably say, like, oh, this is your girl boss trope that you get nowadays. Like, she's not perfect. She steps in traps and things, and that's fine for the movie. But if she had to come around, right? Like, had to adopt this, like, oh, okay, I am going to use those things that, like, my brother had taught me or whatever to outsmart or outwit this thing after her brother gets killed or whatever. I think that would have been really interesting. And so I just think the way that the narrative is constructed isn't as strong as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And it led to me feeling kind of bored a lot of the time, especially whenever they would repeat scenes from other Predator movies, or, you know, like, her brother on point says, like, if it bleeds, we can kill it, or whatever, you know, which is the line from Predator.
Mm-hmm.
Or when she's in, like, the bog, and she's like, come here, come get me. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Just
By cool,
yeah,
I mean
those
not cool.
callbacks. Do those callbacks.
Yeah, I just, you know, like, a new, interesting way to outwit it would have been, I think, a little better, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I think I do feel similarly to how you do, where it's like, I don't think it was a bad movie. I just think that it's a little too baked into itself to be a good movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it was fine. And again, I think, especially after, like, Isaac giving background into, like, this Predator and why he's outfitted the way he is, it does feel like, I mean, it feels like it's It's just another piece of the franchise. It's a fine movie that adds to it.
The number one problem with IP today is that it always has to deliver the nostalgia of like, remember when we did this last time?
Yeah.
Remember when they said, "Get away from her, you bitch"? What if we did that again?
Well, dude, it's like,
Remember the best scene from the other movie? What if we did it again?
it's like Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
I think he would touch autism this time, though.
The whole movie is like, remember when 20th Century Fox tried to make all these movies before and they failed miserably? Let's bring all those actors, those characters back. Because that'll be funny. And it's like, oh, is it though? Is it funny? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
Yeah. I mean, whenever you think that Chris Evans is Captain America and it turns out he's... What's his
Johnny
name?
Storm?
Yeah. That's fucking hilarious.
That was good.
Yeah. There's
And then, like, when you see Blade walk back in and you weren't expecting it, that shit's
Dude.
sick.
Best part of that whole movie is Blade and Channing Tatum's Gambit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Hands down, absolute best part. If that's the only Gambit that we ever get, is Channing Tatum, because he's been trying to make that movie for 20 years. If that's all we ever get of his Gambit, that's great. I'm
Did
very
you know that the
happy.
actual character Gambit is 2 inches taller than him?
I did not know that.
Yeah, at the end of the animated X-Men show, they give you like stats sometimes for the different characters, and Gambit is 6'2", 180 pounds.
Nice.
So I'm taller than Gambit.
You're a big boy. You just don't have a sexy accent, though.
Gambit.
I don't. Well,
Gambit's
he's
my
also
height.
got like. I think he's got like 40 pounds of muscle on me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. So, out of 10, what do you all think?
7.
I'll give it a 6.5.
Dude, that's crazy. I was also gonna say 6.5.
Yeah.
Are we best friends now?
I feel like we've been giving everything similar ratings lately. I think
weird.
last episode we gave everything very similar or exact same
interested
ratings.
to find what movie we watch where we're like polarly divided on it, you and me. Like, which one would drive the stake between us?
Yeah, I'm not certain there.
I don't know. Yeah, so
I'll
moving
find-
on to Predator. The Arnold scale, we've already mentioned. All right. This is on a different scale. Okay, this is on the Arnold scale. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said before, 10 out of 10 Arnold movies. Conan, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And I believe at the time I said Predator.
You did, yeah.
And I'm sticking with that.
I think you saying Predator was the reason we decided to do Alien and Predator, because you mentioned that and I was like, oh, why don't we just like do Alien, Predator, and Alien vs. Predator, and then we decided to split it into like doing Alien movies, Predator movies, and then potentially next week doing Alien vs. Predator. I don't know if we'll go there, but
That'll be a dark day.
I would say Commando should be on that list,
Oh,
too.
okay.
Dude, Commando's definitely on there.
Commando's got to be on the top.
Commando's like up
Yeah.
there for sure.
It's so good.
yeah.
Maybe not a 10, but maybe like a hard 9.5 at least.
Yeah, if we're talking about like the pantheon of Arnold, it's on there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think going into Predator, the moment you know this movie is going to be fucking good is the moment him, Arnold, and Carl Weathers just bro.
Dude, from
What
the
a-
beginning,
they
like when
they
the
just clasp
chopper
hands.
lands.
Yeah.
Like chopper lands and you've got freaking Jesse Ventura. You've got like all the dudes are getting out, and then you got like Arnold back there just lighting up a cigar.
I
Bam.
just mean the moment it just zooms in on their biceps,
Oh,
just
yeah.
oiled up and pumped to the max, you know you're in for just pure testosterone this whole movie.
Hell
Also,
yeah.
too, like what a really diverse cast for that time period, but not in any way like shoving it down or shoving
Yep.
it in your face.
Yeah. They're just
Like-
they're a team of guys.
Just like the crack squad of the best. We're sending them in, and here they are. Yeah, Jason Ventura with the constant dip in his lip is just like, let's fucking go. It's so badass. It's so hard.
And this
Yeah.
fucking like bush hat that he has on.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
There's a predator in these trees. We need to find the predator. He is so good in that movie. And I mean, that's the one thing that I love about Predator is the same thing I love about Alien, the first ones. To like, I can compare them both. Is like there's so little dialogue about like any type of exposition around the thing that's like, yeah, the dialogue is like, we got to rescue this lady, we got to get her out of here, right? That's what they're talking about. But there are large stretches of this movie.
Well, it wasn't even that to begin with, right? Because the whole plot is like, oh, we're sent on a rescue mission. Rescue mission turns out to be an intel gathering / assassination. And then, okay, we're going to take this girl hostage because she knows more information. And then shit goes sideways on the exfil. So,
Right.
And then at that point, it's just like, people die and the movie happens.
Well, what I'm saying though is like in a modern day monster movie, right? You would have like a monster, like for example, like A Quiet Place is a great example of this. They have to find a way to get the exposition out to you. So they're either going to do a flashback to when the people are allowed to talk, or they're going to show you news clippings, or they're going to do something because they have to explain the monsters. They have to.
Yeah.
And
I like that this movie and The Thing, they just open with like shot of space, shit flying into Earth, then the movie starts.
Right. And you're like, cool, here we go.
Like,
yeah, it's like
okay.
The Blob. Did you guys ever watch The Blob? The old Steve McQueen movie, The Blob, from the
No,
60s?
I didn't.
No.
50s. He's like up on with his girlfriend up on this hill making out in their car, right? And this is like make out point, right? This is where you always go to make out. And they're like making out. And then he's like trying to move to second base. And she's like, I hope you don't think I'm that kind of girl. And he's like, no, I would never assume that. And then they see this flash of light and it like a comet like hits the town. He's like, well, that's weird. I wonder what that was. She's like, I don't know. And you're like, I know what that is. This movie's called The Blob. That's The Blob. And then the movie starts and you watch this blob take over this town and start eating people, and it's insane. But that's like, that is in such a 1950s style thing to do of like, we're going to watch the spacecraft hit the Earth and then we're going to go. And it's like, here we go. And just the thing with Predator that I love, just like The Thing, is you're watching these guys learn how this thing operates, but you're learning as they're learning.
Yeah.
And that is awesome. It is so awesome as an audience member to be like, to only know new information about the thing, the creature, whatever it is, when they learn it. And then you're like, fuck, what? It can shapeshift? Fuck, what? It can go invisible? Oh my gosh. Like, it's so much fun. It's so much fun, dude. I love Predator.
Yeah.
And
actually,
Carl Weathers.
So
good.
Administrative Results YouTube video guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got a really good video on this movie, talking about like character breakdowns, and he goes like way into the guns, because a lot of these guns are what is it? They're not the exact guns that they actually are, but they're like slightly modified to look like what they're supposed to be in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting video. Highly recommend it if you are into that kind of thing.
Well, like, I mean, Jesse Ventura having the minigun, like, in no way, no person ever would deploy with a minigun in any situation. Like, that would never
completely impractical.
Completely insane. Like, such an insane thing. But then you don't get that sick shot of him mowing down the woods with the minigun, right? Which is like,
Yeah, I love that, like, the first time the shit shows up and they're just fucking annihilating the bush, dude. Every single one of them. Just complete support is like, yeah, we're shooting over there.
You know what this reminded me of? Because I have been like in very much immersed in 40K recently. It's like if you made the Predator like some sort of demonic presence or chaos influenced thing, and you slapped Space Marine armor on these guys, that's the movie. It's done.
Well,
There it is.
one up you, dude. There's an entire Imperial Guard regiment called the Catechins.
Yeah.
This is them.
Oh, okay.
This is like what they're based on, basically.
I love that. I love this style of movie, and they haven't made a good one like this in a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, it's like this, Aliens, and it's hard to find another one that's like in that vein.
I mean,
like,
Commando, but Commando's him by himself, so
yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, I don't know when we lost the ball on just making fun movies about jack dudes with fucking miniguns.
I know.
I think
We
part
used
of
to
the
be-
issue
we
is
used
a
to
lot of guys aren't that big
A
anymore.
nation of good things, and now what are we? What have we turned into? I mean, RoboCop. I'd say Verhoeven did a good job with like RoboCop and Starship Troopers of kind of carrying that torch a little bit.
Dread. I'll put Dread in that vein too.
Yeah, Dread's up there. Don't you agree though? Starship Troopers, RoboCop, those are in there.
I don't know that I've ever watched RoboCop all the way through.
Okay, I would say that's in there. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, Dread's definitely in there.
Definitely agree with Starship Troopers though.
Yeah. Fuck. No, that's not. No, I was going to say Last Action Hero.
Dude, and you brought up 40K, and I say this every time we bring up 40K, but if they made a freaking Gaunt's Ghosts series that was like Band of Brothers, where like each season was just like one of the books, it would do so fucking well. But they will never do that because it's a bunch of like pale white dudes with dark hair for like the first 3 books before they finally start getting women into the regiment. And like the books deal with that, but like it just won't get made now.
Do you think Zombieland would be in that group or no?
Not really.
Too much comedy.
It's kind of in the farce vein, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Dread in there. Dread is definitely in there.
Yeah, I mean, Dread is like, oop, unexpected lockdown.
Event
Now we're
Horizon.
shooting our way up the.
Event Horizon should be in there. Armageddon.
I don't know, because like talking about like movies with big dudes doing cool shit is kind of like how I'm viewing this stuff. Not even necessarily big dudes, because you got like Vasquez in Aliens, and she's fucking awesome. You got what's her name in Starship Troopers, who is like objectively better than Rico at every turn, and then like
The
gets
Rock.
murdered.
The Rock with Nick Cage and Sean Connery and Ed Harris. That is definitely in there. That movie's so good.
The closest thing you got nowadays is a little franchise called Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. I mean, the old
I would
Vin
probably
Diesel,
say John Wick before that.
I would say like the older Vin Diesel movies like Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, those probably up there.
Yeah.
Con Air, dude. Con Air's 100% in that.
All right, back to Predator though. Overall plot thin, but
Unnecessary.
also not the point of the movie.
Yeah, the plot does not matter. It's a moot point.
Yeah, the plot is like getting Arnold to the point where he's fighting the Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, the plot literally in this movie could have been anything. They could have been going on any mission to do anything, and it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it could
have
have been
mattered.
helicopter wrecks in jungle.
Right.
Same story.
Yep. I do love when they first assault the compound of like lean-to like Eeyore houses. They're exploding like haystacks in the middle of the jungle. That they just are like, this is how we're gonna do it, and everybody's like, cool. And then they, within 10 seconds of starting, it's just like everything is exploding. Like they're just blowing up absolutely everything. It is so good.
And you get your Arnold scene too, of him like picking up a vehicle and just rolling it into the town with, I think, C4 on the back. Oh,
It's
man.
so good, dude. Oh man. And I do have to say too, the pacing is super good. Like the pacing is so good. Because you really don't know what you're in for. And you're like, I mean, this is the commando era of Schwarzenegger's career. So you're like, okay, we're gonna watch all these jack dudes go like America, where they're gonna spread some democracy in the jungle. All right, we're gonna watch that. Let's watch it. Okay, cool. And then they start going, and you're like, okay, this is weird. We're seeing this weird like heat signature angle of them walking through the woods. Oh, that's right, we saw that ship crash. Okay. And then as things progress, when they attack that compound and the attack's over, you're like, okay, now what? Like that's in most action movies, that's like the second act turn. But in this movie, it's like, nope. And now they've quote accomplished their mission to some extent, but now the real plot raises up, and now we kind of start over. And I love the choices that they did with the Predator's kills. The first kill, how it's like it just like flays the dude and hangs him up from the tree, and you're like, okay, like this is a trophy. He's like taunting. It's like there's a realization that the characters have and the audience has at a certain point that goes, you can't win. There's no way to beat this. And that is such a fantastic like feeling to have as an audience member, because you're like, well, they can't kill Arnold. Arnold can't die.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
And they do it really interesting too, because they don't have him like rise to the Predator's level to beat him.
Nope.
It's not like he's using their technology or something like that. It's literally like, our shit's not good. So then how does he beat it? He goes more primitive, covers himself in mud,
so good.
Makes a stick bow and arrow.
Yeah, it's like War of the Worlds, right? What ends up killing the aliens? The common cold, right? It's like that kind of thing. It's like you have to go down. You have to go backwards in tactics to be able to beat it, which is awesome. It's funny though, because when I was younger, I remember, I think I was probably like 9 or 10, and Predator came on TV, and I remember being like, oh, I want to record that, because I had like, I think my cousin Steven had told me about it. Somebody had told me about it, like, oh, you got to watch this movie, it's really cool. So I like put a VHS in to record it and like set it up to go. And in the morning, it was like, it didn't record. And I was like, what happened? My dad was like, Isaac, did you try to record a movie called Predator last night? And I was like, yeah, I want to watch it. It was on TNT. I want to watch it. And he goes, you are never allowed to watch that movie. And I was like, why? And this is my father, and I love him to death. He sat down across from me on the couch, and he said, Isaac, I went to your uncle's house a couple years ago to watch that movie, and I had nightmares for months. He goes, that is the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, what? And it's hilarious. Then, like 3 or 4 years later, I watch it, right? And my dad comes home from work, and I was like, Dad, I watched Predator. And he was like, oh boy, what did I tell you? And I'm like, that's the scariest movie you've ever seen.
For context, just because it makes the story funnier, Isaac, you'd say your dad's a pretty well-known Christian author, right?
Yeah. He's in the 1% of faith-based authors in the United States for sure. Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah,
He's a
this is
pastor
just
too.
so in that vein.
Yeah, and he's a pastor. He was a pastor at the time too. So it's like
That's a wild in the top 1% of faith-based authors is a wild statistic. I just like he write the Bible too.
No, it's like so the way that they break those percentages down is it's for any author, right? Any published author or self-published author. The way they break it down is 99% of published authors cannot survive off of their work. 1% can. So my dad makes enough money solely from his books to live, to that it pays him plenty of money to continue.
That's quite the achievement, quite the accolade there.
That is why it's considered 1%. Yeah. But he's writing his 29th novel right now.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's been a long 15 years he's been pumping them out. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's funny because we had lots of those experiences as a kid where my dad would be like, I watched Alien for the first time, and I'm like, Dad, you need to watch Alien. He was like, I will never watch that movie. He goes, is it scarier than Predator? I'm like, yeah, way scarier. He's like, absolutely not. But we had good experiences
that to my little story here, where my parents got divorced when I was really young, and my dad's newer girlfriend had come over, and she brought her son. Her son was like 2 years older than me. I was like maybe 5 years old, and we were gonna watch a movie. So I go into the closet that has all the movies, and I pick one out, and I'm like, oh, let's watch Aliens or whatever, because my dad let me watch whatever the hell I wanted to. And then his mom goes, oh, no. He's not allowed to watch movies that are R-rated. And I was like, what? Movies have R-rated? What does that mean? It was the first time I'd ever heard of the rating system. Yeah. So I grew up from a very young age watching the Alien movies in particular, as well as like Total Recall and things like Commando, like you mentioned, and Predator. And like if it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, I had probably seen it by the time I was like 7 years old.
Did you guys ever watch the Total Recall Schwarzenegger commentary?
No.
I don't think I've heard all of it, but I've definitely heard parts of it.
Yeah, it is very entertaining watch.
It's him and Verhoeven, right?
Yeah, it's him and Verhoeven just kind of going through it. Verhoeven's a weird dude, man. Like, really he's got some weird beliefs. He's got some weird choices in some of his movies, but man, did he make some of those classics in the 80s and 90s. He really made some certified classics.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, to go back to Predator, the one thing that I have to say about this type of movie, whether it's Alien or Predator, is that you can only do it once effectively. Every other time they do another one, we know what to expect. Yeah. So the only way to effectively do a new Alien or new Predator movie in the way that they did it then is to not market your movie or name your movie anything that has to do with aliens or predators. And then 30 to 40 minutes into the movie, they show up and you're like, holy fuck. That's the only way to pull that off. Unfortunately, because Disney owns both franchises, I do not believe that will happen anytime soon. But there is a world where in the next decade, an indie film comes out, an indie horror film, sci-fi, whatever, comes out, and people go to see it, and 30 to 45 minutes in, they go, holy shit. Is that a Predator?
Reynolds talked about doing that with Deadpool and Wolverine. He was like, what I really wanted to do initially was have us make like a short, like really short film.
Yeah.
That we would do trailers for. and it would be some like generic romance kind of thing, and he
Yep.
would be in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then people would show up, and like 2 minutes into the movie, the Marvel reel would play, and then like the actual Deadpool and Wolverine movie would play. I was like, man, that would have been so cool, but also studios just will not allow that. They're like, we got to get so much in pre-sales.
When they shot it in order to like make it happen, when they shot that movie, in order to like keep it a secret so that people weren't like trying to crash the set and take pictures and stuff, did you hear what he said the movie that they said they were shooting was?
No.
It was a buddy cop, like a hard-boiled like buddy cop action comedy about partners who switched brains.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Yeah.
He was saying he wanted to like do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he was like, honestly, I kind of still want to make that movie at some point because it's such an insane concept. I'm like, it's like Face Off, but with your brains. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Face Off. Face Off's another one. That goes up there. That's on the Pantheon. Face Off is so good. All right, so Predator, Prey. Predator, what's your ranking today? It's a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a class. I mean, it's
10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a Stone Cold classic. It's golden.
Iconic.
They will still be talking about the first Predator movie in 100 years. It will still be talked about.
Yeah. It's fucking sick.
So good. Scott, what's your rating?
I mean, I don't think I give it a 10 out of 10. But
realistically, it's probably like a 9.5 as far as movies go. But Arnold scale, yeah, definitely 10.
I'll give it a 9, but yeah, on the Arnold scale, I think it has to go up there with. It has to go up there with Terminator 2.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Dude, we've got so many like actor episodes we need to do. Like we need to do another Nicolas Cage match. We got to go deeper into the Arnold hole.
Yeah, I just gotta say, Isaac, 2 movies on your Pantheon tick off the Nicolas Cage match round 3 criteria. You named Face Off and you named Con Air.
Hell yeah, dude.
Just saying.
Put the bunny back in the box. Oh, let's go. I love those movies. See, that era of Cage is my, like, so you, Andrew, you talked about like watching Alien from a really young age. I watched like Con Air, Face Off, like all of those movies on TNT when I was probably like 8 or 9 with my dad. And because TNT, they would always like, they'd take everything out. There's no swearing, there's none of that. But like, man, those movies. So good. And honestly, that era of Cage was like a Snake Eyes too. Like nobody talks about Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is a great movie. Like great crazy Cage performance.
Dude, what's talking about like actor episodes that we're going to get to eventually and they're just going to be like wild is Van Damme.
Yeah.
The Van Damme episode is going to be
Time Cop and The Quest. Those were my two favorite ones. You remember The Quest?
Oh, Bloodsport.
Bloodsport's really good too, but do you remember The Quest?
I don't think I ever saw that. Like,
it's where he has to go to that village to fight in the tournament with all the different styles.
That's okay. Never mind. All right. I guess all of his movies are the same. He has to go fight in a tournament.
Yeah. So The Quest is he has to go fight in a tournament, but it's like a Street Fighter tournament where like every other person fights in a different like.
Dude, that's crazy because Bloodsport is like a Street Fighter tournament where he has to travel and he has to go to this tournament and like everyone's using a different style.
I know, but I
all of his movies just the same.
They're very similar. Yes.
No, because there's oh shoot, I can't remember the title of it, but there's a scene where he's got this like ludicrous mullet, dude. Like you would not believe the mullet that this man has, and he is like surfing on a motorcycle while these guys are driving at him in a Bronco, and he's shooting at them, they're shooting at him, and then The motorcycle crashes into the Bronco. He rolls over the top of it, turns around, bang, 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 bang. The Bronco explodes, dude. I can't remember the name of the movie.
You guys
but
want?
it's
Can I blow your minds? Can I blow your minds right now?
Yeah.
I talked to Jean-Claude Van Damme for 30 seconds on FaceTime one time.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, he was in
crazy.
Paris. He was in Paris. I was at.
Wait, who's in Paris?
He was in Paris. Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Paris.
Who's in Paris?
Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Paris. I was at dinner at a cigar club with my friend Osco, who was an executive producer on Incarnation, and he was in the process of trying to get a movie off the ground with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he FaceTimed him while I was there to talk to him, and then he was like, "This is Isaac," and I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you," and he was like, "Hi, nice to meet you too," and we like exchanged pleasantries, and then Osco took the phone back, but I was like, okay, there it is, check that off the list. I didn't have time to like gush or anything, but man, it was wild to talk to him for 30 seconds. The thing with the quest, though, that makes it different, Andrew, is that he's going there with the intention to steal a golden dragon statue. He does not want to fight in the tournament. He is forced to fight in the tournament to maintain his cover.
Okay.
Yeah. JCVD is going to be super fun. When we finally get to do like his movies, that's going to be fun. What's another actor that would be like super fun to do? We got Nick Cage, got Arnold.
Stallone, obviously.
Stallone, yeah. I mean,
First Blood, dude.
Stallone's got a lot of stinkers in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
A lot.
I like the little rivalry that would come up in the movies where like there would be a Stallone like poster on the wall or something, and then Arnold would walk up, flex, and be like, and then keep walking.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, Last Action Hero, they do like 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah. Oh, Last Action Hero, they've got the like cardboard stand-up thing.
Yep.
For Terminator, and it's Stallone.
And it's Stallone. It's so good.
That's such a good dude. Last Action Hero, that's another one. Twins.
Yep.
Oh man,
he's got some good ones. Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, the 3 of those is like kind of the top tier like comedy Schwarzenegger movies, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing too is like him and Stallone had that rivalry. What's that movie that Schwarzenegger pretended he was going to take, and then so that Stallone would take it so he could make fun of him for it? Do you remember?
No, I can't remember.
Hang on, I'll find it.
Was it Judge Dredd? I could see that.
No, it was like a really bad movie. And Stallone was like hot on the heels of Schwarzenegger. Stop or my mom will shoot.
Shelby said to say Junior as well for the comedies, which makes sense because that's the DeVito ones.
Stop or my mom will shoot. So it was 1992. So Schwarzenegger pretended he was going to take it. And he made it known that he was going to take it. That he was going to do this movie. And then the producers had Stallone come in to audition. The only reason he did was because he was like, fuck Arnold, he's not getting this, I'm going to get it. But what he didn't know is that it was all fake. And Schwarzenegger was not actually going to take it. And then he took it, and it's a garbage movie. And that's the problem with Stallone. That's the difference between him and Arnold. And honestly, I have to put the lack of like ego on Arnold's part, because he did grow, like he did develop an ego, but he didn't start with one. And Schwarzenegger started with, or Stallone started with one. He started with an ego.
Yeah, I'll say this: Schwarzenegger, notorious troll. Like I mentioned before, for Predator, the costuming, they were like, "Oh, hey, Jesse Ventura, your arms are, the costumer's like, your arms are bigger than Arnold's," and he's like, "Oh shit." So then they start, talking, and they make a bet for like a case of alcohol or something, and turns out Arnold's arms are like 3 inches bigger than Jesse Ventura's. He's like, "Yeah, I told the costumer to tell him that." That's like the same kind of thing as that story with like Stallone in the role, because it's like it just there's certain guys that are just like charismatic and funny, and I feel like that's Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he definitely has like that in him, that like troll in him. I think I'm trying to think if there's any other actors from that era. I mean, there's lots of actors that we could do from like nowadays. That would be fun. I don't know. I think that era would be really fun though, to just play in for a while. So what's going on in the news except for Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, and the Acolyte got canceled?
Oh, the Acolyte got canceled. On my birthday, they announced it. Funny enough, I share a birthday with Manny Jacinto, star of the Acolyte.
That's crazy.
And they announced it was canceled on his birthday.
That's okay, because he's got a lot of gigs coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, he's a very good actor.
He's good in interviews, too.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't have that standoffishness that a lot of the Disney starlets seem to have nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in a new fencing movie that's coming out that looks really good.
A fencing movie, you say?
Yeah.
I like fencing.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's gotten pretty decent reviews.
You see the guy bunny hopping in the Olympics?
Yeah, that was wild,
that
dude.
That was insane.
I was like, is that legal? You can do that?
There's nothing in the rules that says a dog can't play basketball.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was insane. Yeah, they can't. Let's see, they canceled the Acolyte.
Have you seen the petition to get the Acolyte renewed?
I have,
dude. I'm really optimistic for them. They've got over 700 signatures now.
Oof.
Population of, what's the U.S.? U.S. alone, this is an international show, of course, but U.S. alone, about 330 million people. And they've already got a percentage of that signed up, eager to get the Acolyte renewed.
Yeah, it's Now, Scott dropped a little gem on me earlier when you left before we started recording. Scott, do you want to tell Andrew what you heard?
Oh yeah, I heard or was reading that they potentially may just delete it, like delete season 1, kind of like how HBO got rid of Westworld, so that they're not having to pay royalties, and basically just writing it off as a tax write-off.
Yeah, I mean they already did that with Willow, so it would not surprise me.
And do you remember how we kept trying to understand how they potentially, like, how did they spend $180 million on this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's probably why they said they spent $180 million on this thing. The intention was probably to cancel it and write it off anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conspiracies. But, I mean, man, I guess that's one way to kind of cover your ass for some really bad shows you've had.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be using this as an opportunity to out Kennedy as well. Have you seen that little conspiracy?
I have, yeah.
Because they're supposed to renew her contract before the end of the year. And if she keeps failing, like she has been, maybe it's time to not renew it.
I mean, that's another thing with the Warhammer 40k Henry Cavill situation at Amazon. Amazon has till December 31st to come to a creative agreement with Games Workshop. Games Workshop has not creatively approved anything that Amazon has pitched them so far. So they are waiting for that to happen. And I think I know what the only thing they're going to approve. I mean, realistically, they're going to make them do the Horus Heresy, because that's where the money is. The money is getting
like you
getting
can't
people
do a story about Space Marines that is compelling for live action.
No, for the animated one. For the live action one, that's not. So they just need something. They need something for to be creatively approved, and nothing has been creatively approved. They don't need all of the projects to be creatively approved. I think they're going to do a Horus Heresy animated series, which is fine, but the live action, like Space Marines are going to be really fucking hard to do in live action.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do like 7 foot tall, and then what are you gonna do when the Primarchs show up? You're gonna have 9 foot tall dudes walking around.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if the Adeptus Custodes show up? What? I mean, I just don't understand how you would potentially do that unless they do like a Peter Jackson situation, which is Lord of the Rings. Everybody else is just hobbits walking around.
This girl at the coffee shop I go to, she was like, we're going to make a little movie out of, it's like a little zombie movie, but our zombies are going to be like the empty, like, syrup bottles and stuff like that, but we're going to like, I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but she was like, like perspective, because like things that are closer to the camera look bigger. And I just started laughing so hard. Because I almost said, yeah, like The Hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what this would be. But if they don't approve it, then the deal is dead. So if they don't approve it by December 31st, if they don't come to agreement, then the deal is dead. And honestly, Games Workshop's doing it to itself right now. Like, they have so much money on the table that they have lit on fire through their own hubris so many times. So if they fuck
Isaac, they're such a small company.
If they fuck themselves again, then that's on them. Fuck Games Workshop. Fuck them. Fuck them for creating something awesome. And then fuck Disney for ruining Star Wars. Fuck.
Yep, keep going. Get the Amazon.
Yeah, there's so many. Dude, Rings of Powers. Oh, golly.
Yeah.
Man. Are we going to hate watch that or not?
Yeah, we're gonna hate watch it.
You're gonna
because they put out good trailers, right? The trailers are like, look at all the battles, battle.
Did you guys
know that everything between the battles is gonna be terrible?
Did you guys see the trailer for the War of the Rohirrim?
Nah, didn't watch it.
It looks good. Comes out at Christmas. It looks good. We got an animes. We got a Weibo Lord of the Rings coming in.
Take a bet on the over/under for a character in that show saying "I am no man."
In what?
In War of the Rohirrim.
I don't think she's gonna say "I am no man," but I definitely is gonna be like a. There's definitely gonna be some like girl power situation happening. She's not fighting the Witch King, so I don't think she's gonna say that. But yeah, so that's happening. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like that's happening as far as like shows and movies. I mean, Skeleton Crew comes out, but you guys, I mean, we're gonna watch that, right? It's a Star Wars show, so we have to watch it.
And honestly, it doesn't look as bad as The Acolyte. The trailer looked okay. It looks like Goonies in space. So
yeah, Hot D. Did you guys talk about the finale of Hot D?
Yeah.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I love how everybody was like, on the internet was like, wait, so we're still not doing this? And I was like, did you guys watch this season? We did it. There was lots of war here. There was lots of war. Also, everybody dies in like an 8-month period of time in this show. So like, the season 3's probably all they're gonna get.
Like they got 4 seasons.
Yeah, they're doing 4.
Oh, good for them. Okay, so then they can stretch it out a little bit. That's good. Because things get real insane real fast. And when that starts to happen, it's gonna people are gonna be like, well, that was too much. So I'm glad.
What do you think about, or have you even heard much about George R.R. Martin kind of frou-frouing on this season a little bit?
What do you say?
So he had like some interesting blog posts that were basically like, adaptations need to be truthful to the original work. Or at least like honest to them.
Yeah.
And people have kind of taken that as him saying that he's not entirely happy with some of the choices they're making with House of the Dragon.
And I get that, but also he made a fuck ton of money off of that. So I have a hard time. I have a hard, like, if it was bad, I would understand. For it just to be different but not bad, I'm like, it's the difference in visual medium versus long form visual medium versus a book.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't write the book narratively. It's not a narrative story. It's written like a history book. So like they're gonna have to fill in gaps in places. Anytime
I've heard a lot of people talk about how the narrator for the book isn't what you would necessarily consider like a trustworthy narrator.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things with his writing that I don't like. So, like, I don't like his books very much. But I do like I liked Game of Thrones. I like House of the Dragon. I think, like, the Dunk and Egg show will probably be good, too. Like, the quality's just been there for the writing and the everything. The directing, it's been there for House of the Dragon. And I think they learned their lesson after the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, in retrospect, yeah, it was rushed, but it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was. Like, there were payoffs for pretty much everything. They just weren't what people wanted. The only problem that I had with that is the same problem that I have with Revenge of the Sith, which is I felt like the character turn felt too fast. But that's the nature of a visual story. Like, you have to have your character turn, and when it happens, it's going to feel, you don't want them to turn bad, so you're not going to like it, but that's what happens. What else is going on? Video games. Anything coming up? Anything happening? You can't play the Hunt Showdown anymore because you can't run the Cry engine, right?
Yeah. It's really bad now. And then they made the UI look prettier, but it is way worse than it used to be. To the point where, like, day one, they were like, we've heard your complaints, and we're working on alternate UI stuff.
We'll be getting Star Wars Outlaws next week.
Oh, God. Oh, that's another one. Monkey King Wukong guy came out and has sold, like, 500,000 copies or something like that.
Yeah.
It sold 10 million. But keep in mind, 80% of that, I think, if I remember correctly, the number is 80% is all Chinese gamers.
And
like it's heavily skewed for that region, and you can watch. So because people were also trying to go on about like the drop off in players that happened suddenly, and it's literally because like nighttime in China, like you can watch the player count. Just like it's very interesting when you look at the chart, because it like peaks and then you just see a drop off when it's like night in China and everyone's logged out.
That's because you have allocated gaming hours in China.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like you can literally see like the heavy drop off in player base. It's very interesting looking at like all the charts of like the current like top games next to each other. You just see Black Myth Wukong, and it's just like it's literally like mountains.
I mean, dude, highest, like the most played game on Steam, like concurrent players ever on a single game. It was like what, 2.1 million played it at one time on Steam.
Yeah, I'm not certain.
Yeah, it was like, and everybody that I've seen that has played it has said like it's really good. It's a really good game. I'll definitely check it out. I'm not going to play Star Wars Outlaws.
No, the top most concurrent players is 15.3 million, and that's Fortnite Galactus event.
Okay.
So Fortnite holds the record.
What did Black Myth?
To be fair, he said on Steam, Fortnite's its own thing. So, That's on the Epic Games Store.
Let me see. Oh, Wukong has already achieved a concurrent player count of more than 2.2 million players. And that's before gamers who were playing on console, because it doesn't count. That's just on Steam.
Jeez.
Like,
That is a lot.
It had an all-time peak of 2.4. 2.4, yeah. Yep, 8 million copies sold on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna make another one. Like, duh. This one took a long time for them to make, but they'll make another one. And it's based around honestly, it's a Chinese fable, but it's also like a universally beloved story. Like, everybody knows the story of the Monkey King, or has seen a movie or an anime or something that draws on that theme. So it's a fun story. So anyway, I'll play it. I'll definitely check it out. I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale, because I already pre-ordered Space Marine 2, and that's my big one. That's my big one. I'll
play it when it goes on sale. It has looked pretty decent. I do like a Souls-like, which I've heard.
Dude, you're not a gamer.
I'll play it. I like a good Souls-like. I'll get it for PS5 probably, if it ever goes on sale. You know what? Depending on whichever it goes on sale for Steam or PS5, that'll determine which one I get for.
Gamer, you would play Darktide with me and Isaac.
That's true.
I don't even have Darktide.
See? Not a gamer.
I did buy Hunt Showdown though, but now apparently we can't play that together.
Scott's so not a gamer that even Shelby will bring up Scott's not a gamer.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. I didn't realize Shelby hated on me like that.
Yeah, she goes, Scott? I game more than he does.
Damn.
Animal Crossing on the Switch doesn't count.
No, she's been playing through the Zeldas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one is she on?
That second newer one.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
So good. That game was so good.
Where you can like duct tape rocks to your sword or whatever.
Yep, it's very fun. It's a very fun game.
I'll play Outlaws for you guys and report back.
Oh my!
You're gonna play Outlaws for real?
I will.
Are you gonna buy this super deluxe collector's edition?
No, I'm gonna play Outlaws because I don't have to buy it, because I have a father who buys every AAA game that comes out, and I can just mooch off him. So it'll be in my PS5 library on release day.
Daddy, please, can I play the Star Wars game?
Yeah.
I just don't understand how hard it was to give her a vibroblade.
Dude, is this the first episode where all of us have talked about our... Well, I didn't really talk about my dad. My dad was the one that let me watch all the Wild movies. My mom didn't.
Yeah, you know what? You can just name this episode Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Belated.
My dad, to this day, every time he plays a new game, he goes, I think I'm just gonna start Red Dead Redemption 2 over again. He has put I mean, he's beaten the entire game through hundreds of hours doing everything multiple times, but he also got to level 250 something online on Red Dead Online on the Xbox, and then he got a computer and he got it again, and he played it again, and he got up to level 250 something again on the computer.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
Yeah, that is his he said this is the greatest experience. He played that game pretty much every day for 2 years. I was he loved that game so much.
See, my dad's not a gamer. He's just he's got his other tisms.
He's a cigar enthusiast.
Well, he is a cigar enthusiast, but he'll be like, "Oh, I just built this new gun," and I'm like, "Oh, after that other one?" He's like, "Oh no, that one was a while ago. I've built a number of them since then." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. He's one of them goofy guys who will be like, "Yeah, I bought this lower and matched it to that upper," and you're like, "Okay, this is already more information than I need."
Yeah, my dad is right now. every time he plays a new game, he's like, but it's just not the same. Like he played, I don't remember what Assassin's Creed it was. I think it was Odyssey. And he, like 30 hours in, he was like, I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I'm like, yep.
Well, yeah, it's a fucking Ubisoft game.
Right.
Climb the
So now-
tower, you look around, and then you go do the little flashing golden orbs on the screen, and then you progress the story, and then the story runs out, so then you go up a different tower, and you do the little golden orbs that are flashing
He'll
on your
call me
screen.
sometimes. He'll call me sometimes and be like, hey, are there any good Civil War games? I'm like, nope, and I don't think there ever will be. He's like, why
Civil
not?
War games.
He's like, why can't we have a good Civil War game? And I was like,
we didn't have automatic rifles in the Civil War, so
I was like,
the
well-
general audience isn't going to be enthused about it.
no, I just think there's probably like implications if you make a Civil War game. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, when we play Call of Duty and you play online, sometimes you play as the Nazis and nobody freaks out about that. I was like, yeah, that's true. But it's the Civil War, so I don't think it's going to happen. He was like,
be
what about
fair,
Revolutionary War? I'm like, I don't
The
think so.
Germans had the cooler guns in that war.
And those Hugo Boss uniforms.
The uniforms were pretty cool. I do hear that they were very hot, not very comfortable.
Yeah, apparently not hot enough, Stalingrad. That's a little history joke for you
There's
kids.
a little history joke for you.
The Germans froze to death in Stalingrad.
Everyone has frozen to death trying to invade Russia, except for
By
the
the
Ukrainians
thousands.
so far. Apparently, the Ukrainians are doing pretty well.
They are, but it's southern Ukraine or southern Russia, and it's not very cold right now.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when winter hits. They are doing well, but that's because the CIA's got they do those
Because
things
we're
well.
giving them fucking $40 million every 6 months.
It's not just that either, dude. It's the CIA is 100%
Instead
fine. Like
of fixing the fucking rent,
the rent's too damn high.
the rent's too damn high. Groceries cost too much.
No, but listen, they're gonna fix it next time.
Oh man,
Vote with your heart, everyone. I'm not going to tell you to vote for it. Just vote with your heart.
dude. Side note, I know we don't get political very often, but Bobby Kennedy Jr. endorsing Trump.
That was pretty wild.
You can see that coming.
It makes more sense than him endorsing Kamala.
I didn't see it coming the degree at which it came.
Yeah.
Because he didn't just come out and go, I endorse Trump. He came out and said, the Democrats are demons, and this is why also I endorse Trump. And I was like,
No, but I mean,
holy
the dude
shit,
has
dude.
the dude has always been right wing adjacent. I mean, people try to be like, oh yeah, he could run on the Democrat ticket, but his ideals have never aligned
To
with
be
the left.
fair, even JFK nowadays would be right of center.
Yeah, he would. The old Democratic Party is not the same anymore. Neither is the Republican Party. They've both rapidly moved in the directions. Like the right has gone super right, the left has gone super left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very strange. We live in a very strange time.
That we do. All right, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, thanks. Little kisses. Love you. If you want to give us $1, you can become a space wizard and stick it to the Space Witch hegemony at our Patreon over at patreon.com/Bad Pipes Podcast. For $10 a month, you get a seat on the council. And that means a lot more.
Like Bobby Kennedy.
Then, if you want to yap at me on Twitter /X, you can do that at CryptidWorksYT. If you want to be ignored by Scott and have him never respond to your messages that you send him, you can do that at BadPipesPod. Isaac, do you even have a Twitter? You use Twitter?
No, I mean I
Why is it not on Twitter?
I look at Twitter, but I don't have a Twitter. I
He
don't.
surfs the Twitter, but he
I
doesn't
surf the
swim.
Twitter. I don't swim. Can't swim.
Your boy swims. I'm in there swimming. I'm in there talking to Eric Kane of Forbes all the time.
Hey, you guys are best buds now.
I wish, dude.
He'll be on the
Such
podcast next week.
That'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
I got lost in thought there, thinking about how cool that would be. If you wanted to send us a recommendation or tell us why Predator is not a 10 out of 10 on the Arnold scale, you can do that at the email, which is badpiespodcast@gmail.com.
Who's the music by?
That's Carl Casey at White Bat Audio.
Thanks, Carl.
Oh yeah.
And as always, if you got a scratchy, itchy throat and you want some prescription strength menthol, you can go to our
Fisherman's Friend.
Our full sponsor, Fisherman's Friend.
We sponsor them more than they sponsor us, so.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship.
All right. Kiss your dog goodnight. Bye.